So this is just like a preview of the Nodot Names add-on that I've been making. This is a problem that's been annoying me for years now in Blender, using the delimiter aspect of things, where everything has a dot on a duplicate object or anything of the sort. So general naming and conventions and stuff. So this hopefully is going to be a tool that solves all those problems. The general tool itself, in its preferences, you can define presets. So currently I'm using Unreal as a preset, and you can have it name every object in the entire scene. Anything that hasn't got an entry won't be named, but anything that does have an entry should be named, and it will be renamed with the suffix of the expected clause. You can define the separators. You can have dots, you can have dashes, you can have spaces, you can add a custom if you really want. It depends, whatever you want, there should be the customization for it. The live rename engine on this actually, so if I actually save that as a preset for test, because I'm using dashes, sorry, as the delimiter. If I use the project validator, so the project validator will run through every asset in the entire project, and it'll allow you to fix everything all at once. So if I set this to the test and I apply it to the file, it applies the naming with the delimiter of the dash that you expect. I can also change between different ones. So if I wanted Unreal, I can fix it and it'll go back to Unreal's naming convention, on apply to file. Data types, you can run it and check for violations. No violations right now because everything's been renamed. But this also doesn't extend to just objects. This extends to the data names. This also extends all the way to materials. All the materials now have an M_, all the line types, everything. So images, you can define what the project validator is checking. So you've got your actions, your brushes, hair, curves, everything. You can test and check and choose exactly what you want it to be editing. Within the actual Blender file, when you're working. So the live rename engine, the way that works is that when you're working with objects, any objects created will automatically be renamed. As you can see what's going on up here. If I duplicate, it automatically renames with the correct suffix you'd expect. So this works with materials too. So if I'm down in the materials window and I'm creating new materials, I've got a material here. If I run the validator, you can see the validator is seeing that these are not SM right now. So I can fix all, and that'll fix them all. The material here, I currently am not running it through material types. So if I turn on material types and data types and I run validator for the material type, I can fix that, m_material. And if I duplicate this material here, you add the correct delimiter. So everything is done on the fly whilst you're working and all that fun stuff. One really cool aspect of this as well, I've added some rename tools. So I've got affix tools for affixing prefixes and suffixes. This is useful because you can add it before or after the numbers. So if I add low, which you do all the time when you're baking, _low, and I want to add that after the number, I can add the suffix to all the selected objects I want to duplicate, for instance. So say, for instance, I'm working on a high poly or a low poly first, and I want to duplicate it and have all of the names, the same name, but duplicated with the low or high underscore. This is what these tools will help you achieve. So I add the suffix after the number. You can also add it before if you want. If I undo, I add it before. You can see it adds it before, but I'm going to add it after. And then what I can do is then I can use the duplicate and replace, and I can duplicate from low to high, duplicate tool, and that will allow me to do the little fun thing that you always end up doing in Blender when you're duplicating low polys and high polys, which is maintain the same naming. So you see here I've got SM barrel 71 low and then SM 71 barrel high. So it keeps all of the name conventions, so they're all paired together, and you can quick export that and it'll be perfectly fine. In this as well, I also have hierarchy renaming. So when you're working with hierarchies and you're working with rigs, you can set your base name and you can rename it by chain or by branch. There's some documentation I'll be posting along with this when I actually finally post this plugin. But all of this will be explained. It's essentially like naming from the child to the parent and all that fun stuff. And then I got a standard batch rename. So you can either rename the batch name from the template that is using the preset, or you can use regex commands. So all regex commands are under brackets, curly braces, sorry, and you can see a preview of all of that naming. So currently it's using the last dot delimiter at the end of each. So that's the lookup that it's currently using. But you can define it to use some other regex command as well as just general renaming. So, I can rename all objects with a high with just a low. And you can see I can preview all of that stuff that it's going to do. And I can apply it if I really wanted to. So that's the general gist of it. If there are any other aspects of tools that you'd like to see included within this tool set that you think that would be useful within the Nodot add-on, please do say so, because this is still being worked upon. And I think as a general rule plugin, I think it's good where it is for general kind of modelers and stuff. But if there's any kind of renaming tools that you think that would be really useful to use with Nodot, do tell me.